You know what would happen when we connect, right?
Rock Boy Beats.
I let you know you worthy. Hit back.
That nigga man got the juice.
It's your birthday, baby, what you wanna do? Got some big
What's up? So, yes, the highly anticipated March 5th, 2020 is officially here. I am Derek Green, and today is my 40th birthday. 40 years ago, 1980, I would say a star was born, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how my light shines today. Why did I decide to do this was because as I was starting to think about kind of like having a big celebration birthday party, and when I look back on my life, I've lived in 7 cities or states by now, I guess. I've captured a lot of friends. I've been able to meet a lot of people through social media, and then, you know, high school, college, I'm still cool with everybody that I know. So when I started thinking about like one common place to have a birthday party, I just couldn't really think about like what that place would be. And so then a part of me was just like, it was kind of selfish to ask a whole bunch of people to fly somewhere to come visit me for my birthday. I know it's kind of like, you know, kind of counterintuitive, but I guess what I'm saying is that I just started thinking, well, instead of having people have to pay to come see me, or I might leave somebody out or whatever, I figured I can do a one-size-fits-all and do a virtual birthday party and bring my birthday party to those who love me and who are out there, who are friends. We do everything everything's on digital platform anyway now, so I just said, hey, why don't I man up to the times and bring my birthday to you? So what is my biggest self lesson after 40 years is you gotta love yourself. And if you don't love yourself enough, then I think you subject yourself to really trying to find out who your true identity is, or you subject yourself to not being able to find out who your true identity is. And I say that to say, in this world right now I live in, I'm just Derek. I am Derek Green, and I am a walking contradiction. I am African American. I am gay. I'm a Christian, and I think I'm an independent. I was a Democrat. You know, that's how I feel right about now. But you know, I'm a walking contradiction. So you know, what you see is not necessarily what you get. And I think that's what shocks people the most. You know, as a gay black man, gay African American man in today's world, you know, I have to wear that label, and I wear it proudly because I hope that this message can resonate with someone else out there to say you can just be you, however you want to identify with yourself. I do feel like there is a lack of representation of gay men, gay professional, successful men that are out there like me, and that's my biggest self lesson is authenticity. If I have not, if I couldn't be myself, then I don't know what living life would be like, right? So I say this to say is like when I went to work, I mean, I had to grow to a point where I had to come out at work. My authentic self showed itself approved, and once I would let everybody know who I was at work, and at the time I had a partner, everything, the load was lifted. You know, that self lesson was authenticity. You know, it was be who you want to be, and if people don't want to accept you, that is on them. But the burden is off of you, and when you lift that burden off of you, somehow you become more creative and more audacious and more driven. And that's what I've experienced by the sounds of me just being who I am and not hiding who I am. It's okay if you are gay and you want to identify with being what the world perceives as a man. And I don't know how else to say that. I feel like sometimes as we grew up, and I've grown up through many generations of people coming out. I think people had to be DL. I think I was in that mix of that DL crowd, and now the kids, they just out, right? So, which is cool, you know, and that's fine. But I just think that there's just a point in time where I don't want people to feel like they got to identify with looking or being like a female because someone's put them in a box because they're gay, and that's not necessarily the case. And take on the identity that you want as long as you love yourself. It does not matter. It does not matter. Just be you. Most people know that I love to sing, right? I love to sing. But one of my favorite and I can't sing, so that's a whole nother story. But I love to sing, and God knew what He was doing out to give me a voice, because even though I ain't got a voice, all my friends know I always got a little song for you. But I love to surprise people. I love singing in Spanish. And one of the first songs, I don't know if y'all remember back in the 80s when we had the little cassette players and stuff like that. And if y'all were like me, if the words didn't come on the back of the cassette tape, I would write down the words of what everything was saying. But I used to love this song by Color Me Badd called I Adore Mi Amor. And that's when I learned my first Spanish song. And most of y'all who all know me know I sing it all the time. I'd be like, Chica, tú eres mi vida, la desnuda, baby, y alegría, amor. Y este sueño contigo será verdad. Yeah. So I love singing that song. But what I loved about that is that when I would walk up on Spanish people, or if I wanted to make people think I could speak Spanish, I would just say those words of that song. I'm like, Chica, tú eres mi vida, la desnuda de amor, y este sueño contigo será verdad. And people like, whoa, I don't know Spanish like that, or whatever. So it was just, it was funny. Oh, and another fun fact about that is that I did go to I went to a very mixed school, but I think predominantly black school. And we had Spanish class, and I was like in Spanish 5 or maybe Spanish AP, something like that. I didn't have to take Spanish in college. But in order for me, I negotiated with the teacher to get extra credit, because she used to have a hard time getting everybody to settle down. But what I would do is translate a modern R&B song and bring it to class, and I would open up class, and I would get everybody's attention in there. So everybody would look forward to my song. And if anybody was in my Spanish class, y'all might remember this song. Anoche yo pienso tú, yo quiero estar tu hombre, baby. Ya chipatito es en medio llamado, ya tu amor es fuerte, me dama abu. And that was a popular song back in the day too. So My Boo, by Ghost Town DJs, I think it was, something like that. So yeah, that's something funny about me. I've been blessed to be and I've always said, God, order my steps in your way. I'm a prayerful person. I pray a lot. Spiritual person, and I pray a lot. And so, I ask God to guide me each and every day. And He's put forward things in my path that I didn't know I wanted. Like, I know I ended up playing football in high school. I was the youngest of 3 boys, and I have to tell the story because growing up behind my brothers, I've always, had the big shoes to fill, and I love my brothers to death, for sure. Even to this day, they even though me and one of my brothers, but I love him. I was 4 and 5 years younger than them, but I was always coming up behind them. They was always on the football field playing sports. And I never forget, people used to ask me, why are you not playing sports like your brothers? Why are you not doing sports like your brothers? I was like, because I'm unique. And I believe my mom heard me or whatever. She used to tell the story. I used to love her telling it. And, she confirmed that at an early age. I always said I was unique. And so I always try to do things outside the box of my brothers. So when I got to middle school, instead of playing basketball, football, I actually played golf. And my dad actually picked up golf around that time, so I thought it was a good way for my dad and I to bond as well too. But then, I got to high school. I also played the band. I played the saxophone all through middle school, stuff like that. My brothers didn't do that. And then I got to high school, West Charlotte High School, Dub C, everybody know. And I'll never forget this, Coach Knox. I mean, I wasn't even going to summer workouts, practice. I was like, I'm not going to play football. I remember, like, first day of school, the head coach, Tommy Knox, came to my biology class and was like, Green, you playing football, right? And I used to be like, at the time, right now, I'd be like, which I think that's probably what I said back then. But I was like, all right, cool. So anyway, I go out there on the football field, and I don't remember, like, intentionally, like, just trying to be good at football. I used to hear my friends all talk about they wanted to be, get these D1 schools, looking at them, getting these letters and stuff like that. I honestly, this is when I can say I remember why I'm such a coachable person even to this day, is my coaches told me what to do, I would do it, and I was successful at doing it, right? And so that was kind of how that propelled me into getting a Division I scholarship to NC State, and that's where I played football. And I remember I ended up getting like a 970 on the first time I took the SAT, like in the 11th grade or something like that. And then I remember it was 12th grade year, and I was, making a decision. I had to choose between Notre Dame, NC State, Clemson was on the board, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, all D1 schools. And being a student athlete, because I had such a good GPA, all you had to have was a 750 on the SAT. And so instead of me like saying, okay, all right, I'm not gonna go to college to play football because my brother played basketball in college at George Washington University, my other brother played football at Duke, I said, I don't want to take the SAT again. So, and they were saying that I had the GPA to get into school, so I had those schools to choose from, and so that's why I went to NC State to play football. And I was like, it's gonna be for free, so why not? But while I was there at NC State, I took on the opportunity to, embrace that challenge. I love playing football. I ended up playing starter center for a couple of years. A couple of that was due to, the starting center going out and getting hurt like both years. And then finally I started, I guess, on my own in that third year. Even there, just uniquely fell on the football in the end zone as a center. If you know center in football, you're not supposed to score. So we beat Florida State, never forget that. Most of my Pac fans remember that. So it was always like success was always kind of finding me too along the way. And then, and I know I held on to that record for at least 15 years. The only offensive lineman to have scored a touchdown in the game. So, and a big game at that. Yeah, and then while I was in college, another thing, I challenged myself to want to have a college experience. So everybody saw a different world, school days, and I took on the challenge of being on the football team and pledging one of the greatest fraternities out there, the first of the first, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Eta Omicron, Spring 01, yes. And that is the infamous Ho chapter. For those of you who know Greek alphabet, the Eta is H, Omicron is O, so we were the infamous Ho chapter. But then after that drive, that determination, I just said, I decided to take that on into the real professional world. And another interesting fact is I didn't take my fifth year eligibility at NC State because I was redshirted, so I didn't take my fifth year. And the reason why I didn't take that was because I was graduating on time. I graduated 4 years. I had an internship set up, and I was going to go ahead and go to Florida to Disney and work there. And I remember distinctly telling my coaches, my head, Marty Galbraith, I don't know if you're going to hear this, but I distinctly telling them, hey, I'm not coming back next year to play. And nobody said a peep. It was at the bowl game. I remember it clear as day. Tim Turner, I know you listening. We talked about this. I said, I ain't going back. I'm graduating. And nobody said a word. Winter workouts came. Most of y'all know what winter workouts is. I ain't had to go to winter workouts. But when February 2nd, after that signing day came and they didn't have an offensive lineman, they were calling me left and right trying to get me to come back and play at NC State. And I was ducking and dodging until one day I was walking to class and the head coach at the time, Chuck Amato, was in his little rendezvous. I'll never forget the Buick rendezvous he had. He did a U-turn. I can't remember that. I was walking down the hill and he was like, Green, I need to see you in my office. I need to see you in my office. I was like, Now again, the trainer been calling me, everybody been calling me, right? And he pulled me into his office and I went and followed up with him. And here's another kind of turning point in my life that propelled me to where I am today was I remember, him looking at me and asking me if I wanted to, play another year. And I told him, I said, the only reason why I would be coming back is because of you. And y'all can only promise me 1 year of graduate school. So I really don't see any benefit of me coming back. I didn't necessarily think I was going to go to the NFL. I was already 290, probably small to be a center anyway. So what I ended up doing, and so I remember him saying, well, you can come, you can start a little later. You don't have to come to, I want to say fall camp or something like that. Maybe not fall camp, maybe summer workouts. But he wanted to keep me on the team. And I said, that wouldn't be fair to my teammates. And I just I have no reason to come back, and to be quite frankly honest with you, I did not go back because of him. I don't remember telling him that at the time, but he was somebody who I just didn't really trust or admire as a leader. And when I think about the leader that I am today or who I don't want to be, that's somebody that I would say I would not want to be. And that's just my personal opinion. That's not defamation of character. That's just, what it is. I don't think he ever knew. I don't think he knew that I thought that. I don't think he really cared that I thought that, to be honest with you. So anyway, so I do remember taking that to God and praying about it. And I remember going out onto the practice field at midnight and praying to God before I gave my final answer to say, God, what do I do? And that was a moment where I remember when spirituality, vision, all that kind of came clear. And it was like, go to Florida. And that's when I went to Florida. And I started my career at Disney, was a sports manager there for a year and a half, and then got myself into pharmaceutical sales. I was trying to be like my brother, right? Y'all remember that? I wasn't trying to be like them, but then he was making that money over in pharma. So I was like, all right, let me see what's going on over there. And he can do it, I know I can do it. And then I jumped over, and then the company I jumped over to, which was 17 years ago, I'm still with today. And I have been afforded many opportunities with them with various leadership roles to be successful, to recreate that drive and that determination, and put that in my professional career, and that served me well. There's been times when I thought I wanted to go out and be an actor, and I am an actor. I will say once you're an actor, you're always an actor, no matter what. But there were times where I was like, okay, I'm on this professional career. Is this really where I want to be? Yeah, and I would never let my first job sacrifice for my curiosity to figure out if the world of acting was really what my career was going to be. And I'll never forget, I was first exposed to it actually while I was at Disney when I was a bouncer. I used to moonlight. I was a bouncer in downtown Orlando. Can't think of the name of that club, but it's on Orange Avenue for sure. But I was in the club, and an agent walked up and said, "Hey, you got the look," and they took me to an agency, and that's kind of where I first started playing around with stuff. And that was one of them things where you make sure the agent, you weren't paying the agent some money to do stuff, and you want to make sure it was legit. But I think I did end up paying for like a class or two. And I remember the first time I got a big commercial was a Gatorade commercial. And it was, Jimmy, can you come out and play? And so I thought I was about and I remember my agent saying, just make sure you get your face on the camera. Just make sure you get your face on the camera, because that you get what's it called? You get what's the primary spot called? Like you get featured. You'll get featured. You'll be a featured extra. You know what I'm saying? Get that face on there. You get more money or whatever, right? So I remember getting there, and then we had, and I was on Peyton Manning's football team, so we had to put helmets on. So I was like, how do I get my face on the camera with this helmet on, right? But lo and behold, you can Google, try to find that dang on commercial, and I promise you, I'm up there looking through that football mask, and I remember going to my agent like, look, you told me what to do. Like, that was my goal. I got there, I got on camera or whatever. And I believe they cheated me out some money, and it was just like already getting a little crazy, funky thing. So I actually put it away for a while. And then one day I was in Atlanta, and somehow I was on Craigslist, and I remember I had headshots done, and I remember submitting my headshots on Craigslist for a Tyler Perry show, right? And like 48 hours later, I get a phone call for me to come up to be extra on not Meet the Browns, House of Pain. And I thought they were bullshitting, for real. I thought it was bullshitting. And so I was in Orlando, and I made it happen. I went up there, did my little role, got in the back. I think I was in the barber chair one episode, and then they just kept calling me back. So I was like, dang, I mean, I'm wondering, and I kept making it work for work, and I was like, I wonder if they keep calling me back, we'll just turn into something or whatever. So then, my featured extra spots went from House of Pain to The Game, so I'm like, dang, I'm moving up in the world. And then I was driving back and forth, and then one day I got a call to do a audition for a big commercial. I'll say that because I'll say that because I don't know we can edit it in and out. But I got an audition for a very big commercial, and it was with Shaquille O'Neal. I think I can say that. And it was 10 minutes from my house, the shooting location. Well, hold on, let me go back. I had to audition for it, and so I had to audition for it, and I went and auditioned, and I remember my agent telling me, "You booked this one. This was it's a national commercial, whatever. This is gonna be big." So it was me playing a basketball player because that's how I know I was acting because I can't play basketball. That's why I play football. And but then when I booked it, they actually shot it like 10 minutes from my house. So for years I was driving back and forth to Atlanta, trying to get on The Game, and Tyler Perry about to put me on, right? And then next thing you know, I get a call back for a job 10 minutes from my house in Florida, and I got paid for about 5 years off that commercial, which was amazing. That was a cute little chick. In addition to what was going on. And so what was weird about that is that then I started picking up little projects. I had my first short film. That's where I met a lot of people that I work with now. Yours truly, Lamont, who's filming this for me right now. Thank you, brother, for this great birthday gift to me. So I appreciate it. And so I started dabbling stuff. And then I met Tommy from Martin, and he started putting me on the stuff. So I was just like, stuff was just kind of happening. And I was able to make it happen with work. So I was like, whatever. So I remember one day being in LA and like, dang, I would love to live in LA. I was out there working on a project. I was on vacation from my main job, and I was working on a project. I said, dang, I want to live in LA. Literally the next week I go back home because I put it out there. I get a job offer in LA to transfer to LA for work on my corporate job, which was like, and they don't know nothing about me like wanting to act and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll go, make that happen. So then I go out there, and I remember praying the day I got there in October, and I never forget, it was October 30th when I got out there, which was my dad's birthday, but that was also the day I lost one of my dear cousins to domestic violence. So I do want to put a plug in for that. My cousin, she was in a tumultuous relationship, and unfortunately it ended her life. God rest her soul, Jennifer Smith, and her twin is still alive, and he is someone who I hold near and dear to my heart. I'm very proud of you, Josh. So shout out to Jennifer and domestic violence. So please, people, if you need help, find help, get out of it, right? But I'll never forget, I landed in, and that also caused me to have this prayer about, why am I here in LA? And I said, God, if I am to pursue acting, I want to find a job that's going to help me replace my job and have the same stability and consistency that's there. If I am to stay in corporate America, I want you to give me a definitive sign of success that would be like. Literally 2 years to the day, I end up taking a sales team from zero to hero, and like literally I took that whole team to Paris, and I think some of them went to Mexico or whatever, and I was able to be a leader in that, and that ended up perpetuating my next move within my career, which would have me to have to leave LA. So I said that was my answer. So, which is so funny because then I put acting away, didn't think about it, but then every now and then I get a phone call to do something, a little project here and there, and I now say that, it's just good to have that skill in the back of my head, or, ready to pull out whenever I need it. So those are some of the things of success that have come into my life. The one other thing I just want to add is that if you haven't, this is my advice to my 20-year-olds who just got a job, I don't care how much money you have. It takes only a little bit to start growing. But I cannot stress to you enough to find you a financial planner or find a way to save, because you can do whatever. Money talks, cash talks, and whatever your dreams are, you want to fuel it. Yes, you can do. You can have people support you, but it's nothing like having your own. So if you don't have a financial planner, that was one of the best decisions I made. That was one of the decisions I made at 29. That's one of the regrets I would have had. I wish I would have found it when I was 25. But I met Sean Spade through a fishbowl, put my business card in something, and he works for Ameriprise, and he's been my guy ever since. So Sean Spade, you've been that person, my right hand, my husband, wife, whatever you want to call it. You've helped me get out of some shit, and also helped me build back pretty quickly. So that's another thing I want to highlight as far as like a good decision I made in my 40s, or that's gotten me up to be successful in my 40s. What is the importance of having a vision? There has not been a point in time in this life I can think about that I have not said I was going to do something that I did not do. I think from a very early age, again, to start off with the love of my parents and just, I was president of my elementary, middle, high school, captain of the football team. I always was a part of, I was always in these leadership positions, but it was also things that I wanted to do. And so while I didn't know about putting visions and putting all that stuff out there, but I was like, hey, I want to run for president. I'm going to run for president, and I would do that. And I would say I'm going to play football and I want to be good at it. And I would go out there and do it. So it was like little things like that are just little premonitions that will come through. And then, you start operating in spaces of anything. You start operating in spaces of just now expanding that to provision to a big vision. I remember one of the first times I saw something come true like that was when, am I looking in the camera? Yeah. Okay. One of the times I remember doing that was when I remember when I first moved to Orlando at the age of 22. And I played football. I was always this big guy. And I was like, by the time I turn 30, I want to have a six pack. And I do remember writing these down. I remember I want to have a six pack by the time I turned 30. I knew where I wanted to be financially by the time I turned 30. I knew I wanted to buy a house by the time I turned 30. There were so many things I wrote on this piece of paper. And I believe when I was moving out of somewhere at some point in time, I found this piece of paper right before I was about to turn 29. By the time I turned 30. And everything I wrote on that list came true. I walked into my 30s with a six pack, and I had said that 8 years ago. And I had forgotten I'd written all that, and that thing had came up, and I looked at it, and I was like, wow. So that was a physical manifestation of what it looks like for a vision to come true. And so ultimately, and even in my professional life, that's what I do. When I build new teams, I talk about vision, mission, purpose. It's so critical to get everybody on the same page and visualize and speak and talk things into existence. The Bible says it. It's a lot of things what people say are there. And then, I'm a strong believer that faith without works is dead, and that's in any and everything that you do. So that faith will manifest itself into a vision, and so you always work towards that vision, and it comes true. And I am a believer. I've seen it. I got plenty of stories for you. What do I have to offer to the world at 40? Well, considering, I would assume now that a lot of people live a lot longer these days, I give myself another 40 years. So I think this is more of the 40 plus years. Let me be clear. 88 is cool. I'm really at that midpoint of life. And when I look back on my life at 40, I'm not gonna say I don't have any regrets, but I am very appreciative of the roads taken. As a kid, you learn about The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, and as a kid, you think that life is so unattainable at that point in time. But now that I've lived through 40, I've taken a lot of roads that I feel like have led me to where I am today, and I would love to just share that with people of kind of like what has worked for me, and hopefully that it could touch someone, whether or not they are 14, 20, or 30. Heck, you may be even over 40, but hopefully there's something that I can give you today that will help you feel inspired to identify what success looks like for you at where you are in your point, at the point you are in your life. Well, you might be surprised. I don't know if people would be surprised, but I do cry in movies. Like, I'm an emotional movie watcher. I love sappy movies. I love like hopeless romantic movies. It doesn't take much for me to cry. The last movie I cried in, for sure, was shoot. I even cried in Bad Boys. I found a way to cry in Bad Boys. So yeah, I'm a crier. I like to cry in movies. I don't know, something about sitting in a movie theater and, shedding a tear. I mean, I really get into it. There's so much I've learned in the professional world. Starting right out of college, at the young age of 2002, worked at Disney. I say at the core of it, you gotta love what you do. Because if you don't love what you do, you will not find a way to just do your job, which is a basic, to me, is the foundation of achieving your biggest success professionally. I think that's it. You do your job, do it compliantly and ethically, and do something that you love to do. And that could be whatever you want. I mean, honest to goodness, I graduated. It's funny, I was just having a conversation with someone the other day about what degree that I have. I'm currently in medical sales. I'm a regional director for a pharmaceutical company. I've been with that company for 17 years, and I gotta say, it's afforded me a lot. It's a lot of growth professionally that also helped me personally as well too. But anyway, I was going back to what I was talking about with regards to my degree. I got a degree in Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Management. That was my Bachelor of Science was in that. I mean, I played football in college, so I gotta say that was probably the major of choice. And it wasn't until I was probably halfway through there that I realized, okay, I'm killing this. I was like, I think I graduated with a 3.8, 3.9. And was going to do a double major, but I was like, nah, I'm not staying in school that long. But anyway, graduate degree in Parks, Recreation, Tourism Management. I worked in college, took on internships, played football. So I had a lot of those basic skills that were necessary to show somebody that I was competent. And once I got it, I think the biggest thing is I always want to perform. And so just do your job. Just do your job. Like, love what you do. And if you love what you do, you'll just do your job. And if that happens, I think everything else will fall into play. Everyone knows, if you know me for a while, you know that it'll be 5 years in July 21st, when my mother left this earth. And the one thing that she taught me at a very early age was to love unconditionally. She showed me how to love. She was the epitome of love. And you never know what that really means. And we had our ups and downs growing up as a kid. I mean, I looking back, I think we weren't as well off as I thought we were, or I don't know what the class we were in, but there's nothing that I did not want that I did not get. However, that also showed me that that's how much my family, my parents love me, is that, they made sure that we had, my parents made sure we did not go without, no matter what, or even experiences in our lives. But I think I really, really was able to put my hands on what unconditional love was when I was 25 and I came out as bisexual to my family, because everybody know whoever comes out, you got to come out bisexual, right? To my family. And that was a pivotal point in my life because I didn't know what to expect. And yeah, I just didn't know what to expect. Growing up the youngest of three boys, being an athlete, playing football, having girlfriends, like, school came pretty easy, athletics came pretty easy, but there was that personal life that was always sometimes a challenge, just because I knew how to love because I was taught what love was. I don't know. There was always felt like there was always a missing piece. But I think when I came out to my family, my mother was the first to know, and she was the first to tell everybody after I told her don't say nothing to anybody. But of course, you know how mamas are; they can't keep secrets. So, but I don't regret the fact that she did, and she found a way to make sure that everybody loved her boy, no matter what. She might can talk about me, but nobody else better talk about me, right? So she told my family, my brothers, my dad, and now my whole family knows. I know I didn't tell them, so I'm sure the word got around. But yeah, it was that I experienced unconditional love. Now, and we had our ups and downs. I mean, I had one brother who I thought would be cool with it, that wasn't, and then the one that I thought would not be cool with it. He embraced me, and I just had it was everything that I thought it was everything that I did not think it was going to be, but it was so still unexpected, if that makes any sense. But everybody got through it on their own time and on their own process, and I mean, I know for a fact, they probably wouldn't want me to be, just because of, what family doesn't want their young, strapping, macho son to be able to grow up and get married and have kids and all that, and brother, and they want to be uncles to my children too, but, this is what has happened. I can't say it was a choice because I definitely did not want that, but I love my family loves me now, and we got through our ups and downs, and I'm just appreciative of the fact that I'm still accepted by them, and they love me, and they know, you talk to any of them, they like, don't mess with Derek Green, because that's blood right there. So what would I tell a young man, a young African-American man, or a young man about surviving in this LGBT climate? Own who you are. Be you, own who you are. I think I advocate in not such a vocal way where I am out, literally like out carrying a flag, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that. All this that you see today is all about positive intent and sometimes just learning how to communicate things effectively. But I'm just an advocate for being who you are, be authentically you. I said that at some point. And that's all I say that you need to be. If you play sports, be you. Don't be scared to be you. Don't be scared to, sexuality, honest to God, people make so much out of it, and it just irks the fuck out of me, because it's like, it's 15, 20, 30 minutes. If y'all think y'all, beating it down, Tatiana, like 40 minutes, whatever. But like, that is such a small part of who you are and who I am, and don't let that really take over so much of your life. If you like guys, you like guys. If you like girls, you like girls, and like, it don't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. I got to a point, and I think, as I think about the question again about self-success, once I was able to, do the basics, live, breathe, eat, sleep, find all that stuff for myself, then, and nobody was paying my bills, I really didn't care what anybody thought, because I realized that if they love you, they will love you no matter what. And if you come out to them and tell them who you are and who you might like, and they don't want to be around you, they weren't supposed to be around anyway. And that's for anything that goes on in life. You know, everybody has a vice, everybody has something they hide, and everybody has something that they're just so scared to tell people about. Don't believe that your truth around who you are, as far as if you're bisexual, homosexual, whatever the case may be, don't think that's the end all be all, because it's not. And that just brought up another thought to me, and this may bring up some controversy, but I definitely feel like growing up an African-American male in African-American churches, I feel like, you know, we have been put into a box where we can't be our authentic selves. And, you know, the very place that's supposed to be a safe haven for people to come and be themselves, I feel like has ostracized a lot of African-American homosexuals, the LGBT community, gay, straight, male, female, trans, whatever you are. You know, I really feel like the church, and then more specifically, I think the Black church has really really ostracized and pushed a lot of people away and made them feel like they can't be themselves, because they're using the fear of God and the Bible and stuff like that to say what isn't an abomination. And those of you who are here listening to this right now are probably going to be thinking the same thing, especially people back home. It's cool. We all can interpret, believe what we want to believe. Save your little DM to try to tell me something otherwise. It is what it is. You know, that's where I'm coming from right now at this point in time, because at the end of the day, there's suicide happening. There are people who think they are not worth themselves. There are people that can't get up in the morning because somebody else told them that they could not be themselves. If somebody told you could not be you, I don't care if it was the church, I don't care who it was, how would you feel? So as I look into this camera and as I talk to whoever is listening right now, be you. Don't be afraid to be you. If people are not for you, they are against you. And when you let them know who you are and they're against you, that's even better for you. And that gets you to a place of where you can live your authentic life and stuff. I went to go visit my mom, really unsolicited, a few days before she passed, not knowing she was going to pass. And then I talked to her Sunday. She died Sunday the 19th. I never forget, I was living in New Jersey at the time. I was driving back from my cousin Renee's baby shower. And I was driving on the highway, and I just talked to my brother, David, who my mom had spent time with that week before. And he was concerned about some things, but, you know, again, there was nothing really urgent about mom's health other than the fact she had just started dialysis a year prior to that. And I just remember him saying, he's like, we're not going to have mom alone. And I'm like, why would you say that? So, of course, I do my whole rebuke in the name of Jesus stuff. And I called Mama, and I remember talking to her. And I remember her sounding so weak. And I was so upset with her because I felt like she wasn't doing everything she could to try to make herself get better. You know, just overall, because she just had trouble walking, breathing sometimes. And, you know, I just thought it was a result. She was a smoker. I thought, you know, there were some things that she just wouldn't stop doing on top of, you know, even with her having dialysis. But I do remember us getting off the phone pretty pleasant. Well, very pleasant. And I remember the distinct bye-bye. I remember her saying bye-bye. And that second bye was so faint. And I was just like, wow, that was weird. So then I called my brothers again and just talked them through, like, try to, you know, recap like what they observed the week before. And then I'll never forget it. It was July 21st, and I was literally driving into my job at the time. I was in my home office. So I just remember Darren calling, and he was like, Mama died. And I was like, what? Like, of course, that whole thing just had to process to me. But the weirdest part about it was there was a sense of calm or relief once the reality really set in. And I remember telling my job, got to go, and I flew down there that day. And of course she was gone. but that's the life lesson that I learned when Mama passed, was that, you know, nothing's promised, and don't take any moment for granted, or any second to say I love you, or any second to say bye, or to say farewell to somebody. It's just follow your heart, and that's critically important. You know, my mom is an inspiration to me. I mean, even in her spiritual realm, I can feel her presence in my life. I can feel the spiritual hugs, or you know, the way that she loved me. Like I was her baby. And we talked a lot. And you know, she had my back no matter what. You know, I'm a firm believer that she made sure everybody was cool with Derek, you know, before she left here, and not knowing she was gonna leave here when she did. And my mother was the life of the party, and I get a lot of my personality and humor from her. And I miss her terribly, but I do feel her presence a lot. And I went through some terrible times right after a major breakup, you know, and I just remember just still feeling comforted, knowing that I had God and her on my side, that, you know, I was unbreakable. And so that's it. But I love her and I miss her dearly, and I want, you know, I know she's proud of the son that I have become, and of course, only because, you know, between her and my father, they've been great examples of what good should look like. And I just pray I'm continue to make her proud, and my dad, who's still here, he lives in Baltimore, make him still proud too. So, but yeah, I love Linda Green. Linda Green's my heart. Like I said, I still get flowers for her every week, and you know, me and her, you know, we still roll dog. So I'm blessed to have her as a guardian angel, but I would love to see her face right now, to look at her grandkids and all that type of stuff. I would love to just see that physical part of it. That's the selfish part of me, but c'est la vie, as she would say. I recently decided that, you know, in lieu of putting all the money into my birthday, that I wanted to put money into myself. And 6 months ago, I started a journey through intermittent fasting, and was just ready to just drop some weight and just like get into better shape. And then I challenged myself again that 6 months ago, I wanted to bring the same body that I had at 30 in at 40. And so I did like 4 months of intermittent fasting. Also worked with Marcus Patrick. Hey Marcus, congratulations on your new baby, for helping me with biohacking and intermittent fasting and personal training, and getting me together and getting my mind right. And then that led to me being able to meet a trainer here in Houston at a brunch. There was a little brunch function that was going on, that was surrounded by, that was geared towards healthy eating, healthy habits, and met Kali Pro, who's now my trainer. And I told him, I was like, look, I want to try to do a show. And I was, you know, I went to him looking like, you know, in my mind, looking like Fat Albert. And I was like, you think you can work a miracle? And he said, you can do it. Whatever you want to do, you can do. And we talked through my travel schedule, which my travel schedule is 90% each week. Like I'm headed to Phoenix on Monday. I'll go to Orlando, Miami, but then I go to Portland the next week. So I'm always on the road. I had done it before, so I figured, you know, with the guidance, I would be okay. And I've been relentless to it. And being so close to my birthday, I realized that, you know, I hadn't yet achieved what I had said I was going to achieve 6 months ago. So this was the push that I needed. So thank you, Kali Pro, for all the guidance that you're giving. You've given me you've given me a rebirth, or what's the word I'm looking for? You've re-engaged me into this fitness world and understanding how much important health matters. And through this process, I know I can only do it for me, and me doing it for me has brought back a lot of things that I feel like I lost over this last decade. through just all things, work, relationships, everything like that. But getting back to self-love and self-derek and the confidence that I have. And it's just so funny because I was doing meal prep and all that type of stuff 10 years ago, and then like it became a thing. And then now it's just like, hey, you know, I'm back on the scene. This is what I did. This is what I wanted 40 to look like. You know, everybody can choose what that can be. So what I've done I have committed myself to get back on stage. So I have not drank a drop of alcohol since January 10th, and I will not drink another drop of alcohol until April 25th. My show will be in New Orleans. If you want to come and hang out, that's when the official party will be on Bourbon Street. After I walk across that stage, show my little body, you know, give the judges what they want. You know, Kylie wants me to place, I will place. I'm cool with that. I mean, I know I'm going to place just because of the things that happen in my life. It's like I'll just do stuff and do it and something happens. So I don't see this being any different. But if I don't, it's cool. But we're going to turn up with some hurricanes on Bourbon Street. So if you really want to party with me, then you can meet me April 25th, Bourbon Street, and you can take this virtual party to reality. Come one, come all. Bourbon Street's open all night. Drinks on you, whatever bar you want. But no, I'm happy. I'm happy to be doing this. I've seen some changes in my life. I just feel so refreshed going into 40 with a new mind, new body, new spirit, new soul, just all that stuff, all wrapped in one. And I'm just excited about it. I'm so happy that my outside meets what I feel like my inside feels like, and vice versa. I think those are in sync right now, and I love that about this transformation and change for me. So there you have it. I'm getting back on stage. That was my big to-do, big surprise, along with also having this virtual birthday party. So I hope you will enjoy all the pictures that I've taken. Shout out to Steve Images for his expertise in photography, for the pictures that you will see in conjunction with this video. I want to do a shout out to my boy Apuje, because I was styled by Apuje in my photo shoot. This was styled by myself in Lamont, so I'm a little producer doing this little thing right here, right? You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But no, for my photo shoot, for all the clothing, where I was clothed, yeah. So that was done by my buddy, my friend, Apuje, styled by Apuje. Who else should I thank? I want to thank Lamont so much for helping me again bring this little vision together, and helping me memorialize this time, because I think there are some things that if I don't have children, this is a point in my life I really want to be captured and memorialized, and be my legacy, if that what it has to be. But I know there's more to come, and I know I have a lot more life to live. And I thank you, Jesus, in the name of Jesus, God, create within me a clean heart, renew the right spirit within me, so that cast me away from your cares and not turn your spirit on me. I love you, I praise you, I thank you. I know that right now that you are bestowing upon me, or you're preparing me for whatever's next. You've armed me with that, you've given me that. You've given me the trials and tribulations. You show me I've gotten through everything before. So God, I don't doubt you, and I don't doubt you in the future. Just continue to hold me. I ask you right now, Lord, I pray that you bring that special person to my life, that you allow us to have the life that we should live together, and that we're able to bring children to this world. And that if I were to blow out a candle right now, that would be my wish. What do I want to say to my friends and my family, just for supporting me up until this point? Wow, oh, gosh, just a sincere gratitude, thank you to all of my friends. You know, this is a loaded question too, because I do have this consensus of 5 or 6 best friends, and I am a firm believer I can have 6 best friends. They know who they are, and so I will say, yeah, I can say it, Tony, Devon, Cisco, DJ, and Andre. And then I got my friend Kim, From high school, God, that's why I hate starting to count. But anyway, and if I'm just so close to people, so I just want to say thank you to all my friends and my family for all the support. Loving me for who I am, for loving me for just allowing me to be who I am and who I want to be, has been a huge part of the success that I've been able to have by the time I'm 40, both professionally and personally. The confidence that I'm able to build up because I know I have friends that have my back and family that has my back. I love my brothers dearly. They are my confidants, my support, my mentors, my aces, my everything. I respect them as men. I respect them as Black fathers, African American fathers. I just really feel like they are like the epitome of what good looks like as far as men, and I really want to be a part of that journey as a green father, especially to a son. Would love a daughter as well, but I have beautiful nieces and nephews that beautiful nieces and nephews that I am so happy to have. But yeah, shout out to my friends and family, and I love you so much, and thank you for loving me. Thank you for all of my mother's friends who are surrogate mothers. I love each one of you for always reaching out, having my back, no matter what, praying for me, no matter what. That's just, it just means a lot. So that's what I want to say to all of my family and friends, is just thank you, and I love you. So here's what I'm planning to do for my birthday. I really wanted to be low key, honestly. I'm going to go to Miami with my brother Darren. We're going to celebrate, his birthday was in February, so he'll celebrate his 44th birthday. We're going to celebrate my brother David's 45th birthday. Unfortunately, he won't be able to make it down with us because it would have been great to have like a brother's weekend. And then we're also going to celebrate my mom's birthday. She would have turned 70 on February 13th. So I'm going to have a low-key weekend, kind of a low-key weekend in Miami. My brother is going to be there from Thursday, which is March 5th, which is today, through, I'm going to take that back. My brother's going to be here today, March 5th, through Saturday morning, and then he leaves. And then I'll have kind of a second kind of birthday, because I don't want to overexpose my brother to a lot of things. So I'm going to be very protective of my brother. We're going to have fun on South Beach, eat, drink, as long as it's healthy. For me, I can't drink. And then I plan to kind of just hang out on South Beach, kind of go with the flow. I heard it's like a little white party weekend, a circuit party or something like that. I ain't never did that. So that'll be something. Well, I kind of did it last year by accident, so I'm redoing it again this year. So I'll be out there hanging out on South Beach. Can't do much. So, but once the show hits, I'm probably gonna do a couple of different individual trips somewhere exotic. I got a couple of things. I think I want to do Tel Aviv this year, Greece this year, Bahia, just to name a few. So that's on my bucket list for travel this year, and I plan to do that. So happy 40th to me. Thank you, Lord, for letting me see another year and another decade. And I pray for many more. Please, Jesus, please. So I appreciate each one of you who stayed on to the very end and to hear my story, to hear my life, to hear what made me what I consider successful at 40. I want to thank you so much for that, and all the support and the love that you give, the prayers that are out there from all of my family and friends. I sincerely appreciate it, and want to let you know that the best is yet to come, and you ain't seen nothing yet.